Assalamu alaikum everyone. Good evening. எல்லாரும் எப்படி இருக்கீங்க? எஸ், யாரும் ரிப்ளை பண்ண மாட்டேங்கிறீங்க. ஓகே ஓகே. ஸோ லாஸ்ட் செஷன்ல நம்ம வந்து டைம் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட்டை பத்தி பார்த்தோம். ஸோ இன்ட்ரடக்ஷன் அபவுட் டைம் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் பார்த்திருந்தோம். வாட் இஸ் ப்ரொகாஸ்டினேஷன் அப்படின்றத பார்த்தோம். எனிபடி வில்லிங் டு ஜஸ்ட் அந்த ரீகேப் மாதிரி யாருன்னா, ஐம் சாரி இட்ஸ் அன் இங்கிலீஷ் செஷன். ஓகே, ஸோ எனிபடி கேன் யூ ப்ளீஸ் just give a recap? Yes. Jay Bhaskar sir, you want to share something? Okay, anybody willing to give a recap about the previous session? I suggest please do come forward and share your views so that it will be a revision for you. What we learned in the previous class, it will be a revision for you and as well for others. Yes. Anybody willing to give a recap about the previous session? Those who attended the previous session, please come forward. All right, this session I'll myself do because nobody is coming forward. Okay. Is my screen visible to everyone? Yes. Okay. Is it visible? Okay. All right. In the previous session, we were discussing about the time management skill. So we are into the session of life skill management in this course of Diploma in Counseling Psychology. I will be handling the life skill subject throughout this DCP course. So we discuss few of our topics which I'll be discussing in the life skill session. So the very first topic was on time management. I told you why I chose this time management to be the very first session. Because what is time? According to most of us, time is gold. In some people's view, it is money. But what is the reality is time is life. Time is an irreplaceable source. Once lost is lost forever. You can regain your money, you can regain your gold if you lose it. But if you lose your time, you cannot get it back. So time is equated to life. When you give your time to someone, you should think of in means of giving your part of life to it. If you are in a relationship, you're committing yourself in a family, then you should think that you're going to give a part of it. And if you're committing in an education, when choosing a course, when planning your future, you should think that you're going to give a part of your life. So we all have a very lethargic and a very easy attitude towards time. Whereas it is not so, because Time is life. Many people compare it with gold. They compare it with money, but it is not so. Many philosophers have said so many valuable things about it. So we all discussed it in the previous session. As it is just a recap of all that, so I'll be just highlighting the very important thing. So life is one time offer, use it well. So it is not going to give you too many chances. Once the opportunity knocks at the door, you have to grab it. You have to make use of it at once. When you delay or when you postpone things, you eventually lose all your opportunities. So in the life training session, the very first topic is time management, because this is what all you have. Time is equal to life. We all have our life. Life is so precious. The most precious thing we have is our life. Once gone is gone forever. So it all employs to the time also. So when you give your time, you have to be very careful. And we also saw that few people are failure, few people are successful. Why people are successful? Because they utilize the most. Everybody has got 24 hours a day. No, God is not partial in giving successful people 2 hours extra, or for the failure he has not given 2 hours less. It is not so. Everybody has got the same time. So we all have 24 hours, but what matters is the successful ones are the one who grab the opportunity. When it knocks at your door, when the opportunity comes, they just successfully grab it. They invest their time. They just don't spend it. Where the losers, what they do is they just spend their time. They think of it as a commodity, as money we spend or the gold we spend. They just think of it that way and they just let it go. They don't even value it equal to the money. If even we value money so much, right? So people, they tend to have a very bad attitude towards that time. They don't value or respect time. That that's how people get to the losing things. So successful one, they just make use of time. And equating 20 to 24 hours into minutes, we have 1440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. So think of investing it. Think of in an investment way. Like Elon Musk has divided his time into every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes he will be he'll be cracking a deal, then he'll just go on to a next 5 minutes. So this is his concept of time blocking. That's how he is successful in today's world. So what we are suggesting here is every minute counts, every second counts. So whatever, when you want to know the importance of time, if you reach out to a person who's on the deathbed, who's in a medical emergency, that value of 1 minute or 1 second you will be knowing. When you lose a flight, when you lose a train for being 1 minute late, that time you understand how time management or the value of time you understand. Because what happens is the whole mess occurs because of just wasting or delaying 1 minute in life. So this is all we discussed in detail. That's how time management comes into role. When we discuss about time management, what people think is they think that timekeeping is time management. This is only for the people who engage in professional life, those who are managers or those who are into organization. They require time management, but even the children require it, right? From, because time is life, everybody has life, right? We know, in other words, time management is life management. Time management is self management. We all have 24 hours, but how do we use it? We use it in a very improper way. That's why people get failure. Successful people use it, make best use of it. So rather than looking at the clock when the time comes, but when the matter of time management comes, rather than looking at the clock, you tend to look at the compass. Compass is a device which is used to direct people. Mariners use compass to see the direction, whether I'm going in a I'm going in a north direction or in a south direction, or east or west. So depends on that, they decide the direction. This is how we people who learns time management, we just don't take control of our clock. See, my 5 minutes is gone, now my 10 minutes is gone. This is not the case. What we should actually do is we should drive our time, we should channelize our time, we should focus on our time, where it is invested, how we are going to reap rewards out of it, what we are going to earn or learn out of it. So when you give your time to anything or anybody, be very careful, because you are giving your part of life. So the next thing is, many eminent personalities, they have a very good time management skills. That's how they are like they are eminent. They have proved themselves. So if we also have that time management skill in our life, we can have a very good life. If you do any activity, the time will pass. You can spend it by watching a television, by sleeping, by using elevators, whatnot. In all sorts of activity, we just spend our time. We don't take control of it, or we don't just imagine how it is going to reflect in our life. So what happens is, we ultimately lose a part of our life, which is very dangerous in other terms. So when we understand the value of time, we consider it as a valuable asset, that too an irreplaceable asset. Once gone is gone forever. You're not going to get this second, this moment again. If you think of it in that way, you will know the value of time, you will know the real value of life, and you will implement it in all your activities. So the concept of time is just past, present, and future, nothing else. Past is gone, future is very uncertain. Nobody can guarantee you that future is going to be like this is going to happen. So what you do in this present moment is your future and your past too. What you do now will be your history. What you do now will be your future. So this is just the concept of time. When you consider your time, it is just a matter of past, present, and future. Leave the worries about past. Leave the worries and anxieties about future. What is going to happen in future? Oh, this person has scolded me badly. My yesterday went very badly. Leave it. What you have now is your precious moment. In this you can change your past. In this moment you can invest and change your future. Next comes the best hours of productivity. So some people, they are very active in the early morning. Some people, they are very active in the late nights. So accordingly, you should, whichever is your best hour of work, you should dedicate this time. If you are a morning person, dedicate this time to the most important task you have in your life. This is what is the meaning of that. Who needs time management? We all need time management, because one who masters time masters their life. Everybody wants to be the successful person. So what are the benefits of time management? It increases your productivity, it increases your work-life balance, it gives you more opportunities. When you stay focused, when you plan your life, you get to have a better time management. You get a lot of time to do other things also. You can have time for your hobby, you can have time for your own physical fitness, rather than saying I don't have time. We all usually say, we all have this habit of saying, why did you do this? We just give an answer, I don't have time. So this is the biggest lie of the world, because there are people who have got the same 24 hours doing so much, and we do have that 24 hours, but we say I don't have time. That's the biggest lie. We don't know how to plan and implement in our life, how to focus it, how to take it in a direction that we have time for everything. So we all saw the attributes of time. It is irreversible and it cannot be compensated at all. It's a one-time chance. So estimation of time, it is nothing but people sometimes what they do is they either underestimate the time, they commit so many things, either they underestimate and say, I don't have time, I cannot accomplish these tasks, or on the other hand, what they do is they overestimate time. Overestimation in the sense, what they do is they take up so many activities which ultimately causes stress, and their quality of output is low. So this is all about the time management we saw. So we also discussed that we shouldn't be a perfectionist. Whatever task you do, you should seek for excellence. You should try to do it in a good way. You should try to achieve the best in it, but don't be a perfectionist. What the perfectionists do is they just don't launch anything. They just keep trying, they look for the errors, they keep making it perfect. Ultimately, they lose their opportunity, they lose the time. So don't be a perfectionist, just start. Ultimately, you will learn to do it perfect. You can do it. So these are the things we discussed in the previous class. So whatever we do, whatever strategies we learn, or how our attitude should be towards time is regularity and consistency. If you are planning to do something, do it every day. It is not that you have done it today, you have spent 30 minutes for your goal today, and tomorrow you have never turned up. You just left it for 1 week and again you think of it. What happens is a sort of guilt, a sort of mental depression accumulates in your psychological well-being. So it affects it. Ultimately you feel guilty, you feel less focused, less energized. So this ultimately hampers your physical, psychological, and all the skills you have learned. You may not be able to use it in a better way. So next thing we saw is to be flexible. If at all you miss it one day, we ask you to be regular, we ask you to be consistent. But if at all you miss it one day, it is not a problem. You can make it the very next day. But don't give a very long gap. It is okay to have a break time for one day or two. But don't make it a habit of breaking or taking a long gap. This is when you tend to lose your focus, you tend to lose your direction. So this is not advisable. The other thing we saw is procrastination. So, and time management is essential for very important reason, because it gives you productivity, it gives you professional, academic, and personal growth. You have a better work-life balance. You can give your maximum to your profession, you can give your maximum to your personal life also. So if you have any goals to achieve, you can plot it in a smart goal thing, and you can, the important aspect of it is, if you want to achieve any goal, time management is interlinked. What all we study in life skill, what all we study as a life skill training, these all subjects and these all topics are interrelated and overlapped with one another. So the thing is, one is incomplete without the other skill. If I talk about goal setting, this will be our other topic in life skill. Without time management, it is useless. So that's when this life skill is interrelated. You need to have a better life skill. You need to have all these skills interconnected, and you should have mastery over each skill so that you prove yourself in a very efficient way. So what happens if I have poor time management? It gives me stress. What happens is I tend to miss my deadlines. I don't have time for my family. I don't take them out. I don't spend quality time with them. What happens is my personal life also get disturbed. My professional life also get disturbed. So it ultimately brings up it builds up a kind of stress into my mind, which gives me stress, depression, and the psychological cycle goes on. It becomes a never ending thing in our life. To stop this, to cut this, we need to have a proper time management. So we heard of a term, procrastination. What is procrastination? It is the enemy of success. Procrastination, when it comes to time management, it is a very important word to be discussed, because this is what most of us do. We voluntarily, knowingly, deliberately, what we do is we postpone some tasks to the other day or to other week. We do this. We know the negative consequences. But why we do is, we do it because of lack of interest. We do it because of laziness. Many people do it. Research says that 95% of the people are into this procrastination thing. So think of it, 95% of the people to some degree, they procrastinate. So where is the time management now? And what is time? It is the precious, the most valuable asset which cannot be regained at all. But 95% are miserably failing in this topic. So that's why this is the first session of our life skill training subject. So there are two types of procrastinators. One person, they do it voluntarily. They feel lack of interest, or they have trouble making decisions, so they just put on to the other day. Some people, what they do is, they don't like to start early. What they do is, they push the timeline, or they push to the deadline. They feel motivated, they feel brisk on the very last day. If it is the last day of paying fees, the people rush. They wantedly do it. They remember that they have to pay the fees on this date. But what they do is, they simply postpone it. Why? Because they think it to be a challenging one. They feel motivated to do it in the last minute. This is not an advisable thing, because something if goes wrong, again you will be into a that stress cycle. You will be trapped into that stress cycle. So it is not advisable at all. So why do you procrastinate? There are many reasons for procrastinate. I said people, they are perfectionists. That's why they push things until they get it perfect. So this is how it goes. Some people have trouble in making a decision. Some people, they feel the risk of failure. Some people, maybe because of the poor health, or they just don't get into the mood of doing things. There are many reasons for being procrastination. There are fear for failure, or not in mood of doing it, or they don't feel it exciting to do, no motivation, or some physical or psychological ill health. These all may be the reasons for it. So whatever may be the reason, for some people it becomes a habit. They do it in the very last minute. They push it to the last minute. They think that anyhow I'll make it up. And some people, they overestimate their abilities. What they think is, it is a silly thing, I can make it in a matter of minutes. I do have gadgets, I do have AI now, it can help me a lot. So they believe so much on the technology, they believe so much on their own abilities. So they push it to the very last deadline. So how to overcome this habit? You have to admit and accept that you are procrastinating. You are into that 95% of people who procrastinate at one time or the other. And figure out the reason for it. Why do you procrastinate? What we saw so many reasons, right? So what is your reason? What is your reason for it? Why do you do it? And you have to take responsibility of it. You have to make deadlines. You have to plan and act accordingly. These are all the things we saw in the previous session. So we will be continuing with this time management in this session also. So in this session, what we are going to discuss it based on these very basic things about time management. We are going to discuss the strategies to have a better time management. What are all the famous and proven techniques people follow currently to better time manage? And what we saw in the previous session is, we saw the importance of time management, and what will happen if we don't have time management in our life. Because these strategies will only work when you value time. When you know the real value of something, you will have worth of it. You will feel like doing something. Otherwise, just learning the strategies, just knowing the principles and letting out from the other ear is not going to fetch any importance in your life. So to begin with, we start with our second session. So,
Ma'am,
yes.
I have a question, ma'am. I'm Deepak
Yes.
from Bangalore. I hope you're doing well. Okay, I was listening to you. It is really, really exciting, and it's my privilege to be a part of this show. Just wanted to ask you,
Thank
do you have any
you.
special techniques, or you could recommend any special techniques to overcome procrastination? Because I admit I used to procrastinate in the past, but over a period of time I've reduced, but I'm not being consistent. So
Okay.
can you recommend or can you suggest some techniques in order to
Yes,
overcome
this
those?
session is all about that. In this session, we will be discussing all the world widely used techniques. So we'll be discussing it now.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So the common time wasters, how do we waste our time daily? Procrastination is one thing. So we voluntarily procrastinate, we do it intentionally, knowing the negative consequences. This is where the dangerous part is. We know that it is going to end up in a negative consequence. Still, we do it. Still, we delay it. Some people feel it to be a thrilling task. Some people, because of their lazy attitude or not in a mood to do it, they tend to do this. Now, the other thing is multitasking. What people think is they overestimate their ability. So when they overestimate their ability, they tend to involve themselves in many multitasking things. But what psychology suggests is at one time you can focus on one task only. When you keep doing multiple tasks, what happens is one on the very important task you are doing, you may not be giving the fullest attention. One thing. The other thing is the other task which you included, thinking that I'm best at multitasking, what happens is that also get your divided attention and it goes on in an automation mode. You don't give your fullest to it. So whenever you plan to do a very important thing, the key here is to avoid multitasking. But people say that multitasking is a good thing to develop. Why do you discourage multitasking? But when it comes to the matter of time management, multitasking is not advisable for the tasks that are very important. See, if a student is planning to study for an exam, he is having a book in hand and watching the TV. Simultaneously, this cannot go hand in hand. This is the issue. Then few people, what they do is, while cooking, they just keep talking over the phone. What happens is you ultimately, there is a danger or risk of burning your hands or burning the dish. Anything can happen. You will not be giving your fullest attention. Sometimes people, they say we chop the vegetables watching the TV. Why do you discourage that? See, what I say is, if you want to allot your fullest concentration to certain tasks, don't multitask. Few things which can be done, you have been into it a pretty long time, you have practiced it a lot, this is fine. You need not give your 100%, then it is okay to a petty task. But most of the times what we do is we overestimate ourselves and we just multitask things. So this is the thing to be discussed. Distractions from technology. So we are in a world of technological advancements. The email keeps popping in, the social media, the notifications, they keep interrupting us. You will be in a very important meeting. You will be hearing the rings. You will be getting the beeps for the notification. These all distract us from our very important task. So when you think of it, when you start planning it, what we have to do is we have to minimize all these distractions. Then unnecessary meetings. What we do is we don't consider our time to be a valuable one. We just let it go. We don't take control of it. So we allow anybody and anything to just come and take our time away. So these unnecessary meetings in the sense, you may go for family get together, you may spend your me time, you may have a recreation time with your friends and families. That is not unnecessary. But some people, they just walk in your life and they do gossip about things, go away. It is not going to fetch any goodness. So we need to limit all this. We need to have control over all these things. Poorly managed emails. So this is all the things. we don't have we have poor management over our technological gadgets, app and all. So the notification keeps popping in. That's how we tend to lose our time. What happens is we just get distracted, go for seeing one notification, end up spending hours over the gadget. In the sense, we just go for checking the missed call, we end up in YouTube, we just go for the Facebook, we keep. So this is how the screen, this is how the apps. Is my voice not clear to everyone? Is it the issue with Deepak or everybody?
No, I think
Okay.
most of them, ma'am, because your voice is like kind of choppy. You're sometimes you're coming in and sometimes you come out, so it's kind of fading.
Oh, okay. Is it the issue with everybody?
I think even Abdul sir is saying the same. Not Abdul, I mean someone else. I think it's Yasser. Yasser is saying that.
Mm-hmm. But my thing is full. How is it now? Is it audible?
Yeah, that much better, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's resume with our presentation. Okay. So what we do is we overestimate our abilities again and we overcommit things. So overcommit things in the sense we take up so many tasks and responsibilities which we cannot accomplish in a set period of time. So we need to look at this overcommitments also. Lack of prioritization. In these strategies, when we discuss about time management, we lack some skills in prioritization. We tend to differ a lot in prioritizing things. We give time to so many people that what happens is we ultimately lose our prioritized thing. So this shouldn't be there. This is a thing. Then comes the cluttered workspace. When you talk about time management, you should keep your desk or your workspace in a very organized way. What happens is when you keep it disorganized, you tend to lose a lot of time in searching for the items. You may miss your things. It leads to a lot of stress. We all go through this just because we don't keep the things on a right place. This saves much of the time. If you do it at once, if you spend some few minutes and you tend to organize your workspace, you get a lot of time in scheduling your things. You just can do your work very easily. Socializing excessively. Socializing is very important. We all are social beings. We need to spend some time with people, talk. We should know what is going on around us in our society and in a community, going on around worldwide. But what people do is they make it their life. They have less focus towards their career. They have less focus towards their goal achieving. But they just give their fullest on the news. They just give all 24 hours to the social media. This is how social media is influencing day by day. We just go give unnecessary comments over all the posts and all that. You have to do whenever it is necessary, but see to that you don't get yourself engaged into it all the time. Then inefficient work processes. So when you keep your desk cluttered or your space disorganized, what happens is we tend to lose certain things. We tend to have some kind of stress. So what happens is we don't update our skills, we don't have our organized workspace. So this all tend to an inefficient work progress. So this, when your work progress is slow and you also go by the outdated methods, you have modern problems now. You cannot go with the solution that worked decades ago for the people. You have modern problems now. We are into this social media influence too much nowadays than the people who had it 20 or 30 years back. So this is how we need to find modern solutions to the problem. And in this technological world, we tend to spend so much time on the gadgets, but what we don't focus is those gadgets can be progressive as well. We don't update on that. You can get many things done using AI. You can get many things done using apps, but we don't use it in a progressive way. Rather, we just go on the other negative side and tend to lose our time. So this is all. And inability to say no. This and all we will be discussing elaborately now. What happens is many
Ma'am,
a times people have difficulty. Yes.
can you give me some examples with pertaining to inefficient work processes? Say, for example, now, for instance, I am following a method which is I've been
Okay.
using this for quite some time. I reckon I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that's obsolete or something. When you say outdated, so can you be more
Mm-hmm.
little elaborative on this and can you shed some light on this?
Yes. Outdated thing means we have so many apps to facilitate you. You have voice command. Okay, instead of that, what we do is, if you want to check your time, you can just say on Google, you can just raise your voice command and get it done. If you want to check the temperature, you can just give a voice command. For anything, you can just set an alarm with your voice command. So this is how we can make use of the technological improvement. Rather than that, what we do is, we just go by the outdated ways and we do it handy. So I meant this.
Okay.
Am I making sense?
Yeah, to an extent, yes. But for instance, my point was now if you say, for instance, I'm asked to do certain reports. Now, see,
Okay.
certain areas, I do not have a network reception, or probably, I do not have an access to the internet. Now, I'm so used to this methodology or some methods where I mean, you following this, what do you call as in a traditional manner. So I've been following this for
Mm-hmm.
quite some time. I don't want to change, or probably, even if I want to change, it's not supporting me. So in that case, how do I go about it?
See, we have to go with the flow, right? Uh, we have so many technological advancement. If you stick on to those old traditional methods, you will have to spend a lot of time. It is important for us to just leave the traditional method, not completely, but to some extent, you can get the help of it, right? You can use the AI, you can use the modern tools and apps to remind you of your meetings. We all previously, traditionally, we all used to have a physical calendar hanged in our workspace. We used to have one over our table, but nowadays everybody is working on the Google calendar. It gives you a pop-up, it gives you a notification, it reminds you of the meeting. So when we don't update, we tend to just with the traditional ways, but the world is moving fast. With the old pace, we cannot match with them, right? We need to update our skills.
I second that, ma'am. I do not deny that. Say, for instance, for example, I've been doing
Mhm.
PowerPoint presentation. It takes ages, I know for the fact. Now, when I switch over to Gamma
Mhm.
will give results instantly. However, I am not
Okay.
learning anything using the see now this advancement of AI is so much, your brains are functioning in a very limited manner. You're not putting your thought process in that. So when I was doing in the conservative manner, I used to put my brains. I said like,
Mhm.
what do I do? So this is what my flow is. So there is advantage and there's
Mhm.
also disadvantage. I do not
Obviously.
deny. I second that what you're saying. I understand. I get that. However,
Hmm.
there are few things that we also need to look into and we need to ponder over it as to what could be. I mean, how I could make use of the AI, where I need to make use of the AI. If I feel it's not required, I feel okay. That's it's probably let me stick on to the old man or the old method or the from the old school. Right.
Yes.
This is what I meant.
See what happened. Yeah, I can understand. What happens is, we have difficulty in updating from traditional method to the thing. But when we used to it, when we get used to it, when we frequently expose ourselves to the new developments, and we should use it according to our purpose, right? So what is your limitation with the AI? You can use that part alone and take it for your development. Once you get used to it, once you're very involved, ultimately you will be an expert. And what happens is we should learn to update, and we should like, what is that, we should update on our technical skills as well, because it requires so much. Before and all, before this COVID era, people used to, yeah, so people used to have it, uh, the old school of teaching method. They just go by the old method of
Ekta,
that
ಒಂದು ಕೇರ್ಮನ್
blackboard,
ಪರ್ಸನ್
whiteboard, this board method. Yes. So this old method of teaching, but the emergency, it forced us to have a digital era. Now we are addicted to it. We all are following this method so easy. It is conveying people worldwide. So initially it will be difficult, but what happens is when we get used to it, we will be doing it ultimately. I'm not saying totally rely on the digital way, but make use of it whenever it is necessary. Let's make use of it. So let's resume with our presentation. Okay, inability to say no. What happens is when some people come and ask you for help, you rather than looking at your own situation, what you do is you just commit yourself and get into their work. So what happens is it drains your time and energy. You may not have your time and energy for doing your own task. Over analyzing decisions. So this is pretty much syncs with the perfectionism. What happens when you overanalyze or look for perfectionism in everything? You just don't involve yourself in getting into action. You just delay it. So we need to avoid it. This is a time waster. Neglecting breaks. When what people think is, I should avoid my lunch break. I should not give break at all. I should not take break. I should work all the time. This is how people think when it comes to time management. I can make use of my free time also. I'll invest this time also. No, this is a wrong decision. What happens is when you avoid taking break, you tend to have a sort of mental fatigue. Our brain, psychology says that we tend to have a limited span of attention. We will have a limited focused energy for a certain time only. When you keep when you just don't give breaks, what will happen is you will develop some sort of fatigue, some sort of mental stress. You may not have that same focus and you may not work with that. So this is about the time wasters. Now, common myths what we have about time management is, people think that time management is just about schedules. You have to allot certain of time to a task. This is what the time management is. No, what is the reality is, we tend to be flexible. We allot things. It is not that we don't schedule it. We schedule it. We prioritize tasks. What should be done first? What is important? What will happen if I miss the deadline? So do that task first. This prioritization and scheduling go hand in hand in time management. Next comes the multitasking. Many people, we discussed it earlier, many people, they think that multitasking increases the productivity. So they tend to take up two or more tasks at a time, and they keep doing it. What happens is they cannot give their fullest focus and attention to any of the tasks. Most of the secondary tasks, they go on the automation mode. You really don't enjoy, or you don't give your full concentration to whatever you do. More hours worked equals more productivity. So people, rather than doing smart work, they really believe on hard work. Yes, hard work is important, but when you keep doing the hard work, you will feel sort of tired physically and mentally. You will feel that burnout, and ultimately it is going to decrease your productivity. So what we suggest here is, working more or working hard is not a matter. You have certain thing to be done. See how smartly you can make it out. See how easily you can finish that task. Break it into simple things, focus, give your fullest, and finish it off. So this is what we suggest. Think of it in organizing it in a very simple way. Don't make it complex, or don't give your full energy and all that. Think of it in making it an easy, taking it in an easy direction. Disorganization is just my nature. No, we saw that disorganization shouldn't be there. Our workspace, whatever we do, either in the office or in the housewives, those who do the kitchen work and all, they do have that pressure. They have the pressure of packing the lunch, sending it on time, everything. So when you keep everything organized, your mess will be cleared, your stress, your tension will be reduced to a great extent. So I suggest you all to just follow this organization. Next comes the setting goal. What we think is life goes in the way it wants to go. We need not set anything at all. I'm into a job, I have my family, I'm looking after them. This is how it goes about. Setting goal is not a big deal at all. No, here it is mandatory. When you talk about life skills, setting goals is must be there, because you want to achieve something. You have planned to invest your time rather than spending it. So set your goal. When you say to set your goal, it should be a clear, achievable one. You should not set goal that you cannot achieve at all. That is not practically possible. So if you take up certain tasks like that, what will happen is you will tend to get a sort of demotivation. You will be low on your energy. So this and all will happen. I don't have time to plan. So people, many a times they say, uh, who has time to plan and all that? We can just start the task at once. No, failing to plan is failing to achieve. When you don't take it, that is what we said. In a time management, you need not keep watching your clock. You should watch your direction, in which way you have focused your energy. It is taking you towards your success. Is it taking you towards your goal or not? And you have to plan. I'm gonna allot this much amount of time. You should be very specific. You should streamline your task. You should have a very structured plan, so that you don't have any sort of confusion in things. I can manage without deadlines. So what happens is people, they don't plan, they don't prioritize, they don't keep any deadlines. So what happens is we ultimately just go with the flow. We don't take control of it. This is how it happens. So ultimately, when a deadline comes, if you miss it, it creates a lot of mishap in our psychological well-being. Technology will solve all my time management issues. So as we discussed now on Deepak sir's question, I said take use of technology to simplify your tasks. Don't stick on to the very traditional level. Of course, we all are used to our technology, used to our traditional way. But when we develop in our day-to-day life, we should take some help. Before we used to wash clothes with our hand. Now everybody is resorted with the washing machine. This is how we need to match up with the technology and to our needs, certainly. And what I am here to say is technology will solve all my time management issues. So over relying is also harmful. So in Tamil we say alavukku minjinal amirthamum nanju. So when it, whatever it is, if it crosses a limit, it will cause problem. So try to keep it in a limit. You need to have technology, but technology has other issues too. So just discipline, our personal discipline matters a lot here. So you cannot over rely on technology, and your desk is disorganized. You don't prioritize tasks. You don't manually set your goals. You don't have the motivation. You don't have that spirit to have the time management, but you just literally depend on your technology and say, this AI will do my project in minutes. That's not going to help. You can take help. You can make use of your technology, but not solely rely on it. Take use of it according to your need. Just channelize and drive it according to your way. So these are all the myths, common myths we have about time management. So the thing is, we can better handle our workload when we have more time. So we are not going to have, if I ask for more time, God is not going to give me, instead of 24 hours, 48 hours. This 24 hours only I have to manage. That's why we are here to learn this skill. Okay, so when you allot certain time, when you prioritize task and finish it, you end up reducing your stress. Thereby you get some time allotted for your personal task, for your personal well-being. So instead of uh, using my fullest to my one task, what I'm doing is I'm planning and putting certain time for certain tasks. When this is done, I'm done with it. I switch over to my other task. Taking more breaks, we discussed it earlier. What happens is when we take more breaks, just for like without skipping the breaks, we should utilize it. If we don't utilize the breaks, what will happen is we will develop stress a lot. This is not going to help at all. You will not be in your fullest, you will not be focused, you will not be energized, you will have certain sort of mental disturbance while doing any of your tasks. So let's see some theories and concepts related to time management. The very first thing is Parkinson's law. This law, what it says is the amount of work required to complete a given task will expand to the fill the time allotted to the task. What does it mean is, if I'm allotting 1 hour for a task, it requires or not, what we tend to do is we stretch it to that extent. So when you carefully plan your task, you have to give that limit in a very careful manner. So this Parkinson law, what does it say is, when you tend to give more time to certain tasks, if you allot to study, this happens with the students. What they do is, when there is no exam deadline, they cannot study one subject per day. But when the examination comes, the other day, if there is exam, they tend to revise all the subjects, what and all is needed. They can do it in matter of hours. They just simply revises and they just get ready. This thing they won't be having in a prayer days before the examination date and or the deadline announced. The 70% rule, what people say is, don't give your 100% to the task, whatever you're doing. This is all the theories. If theories in the sense, people have proposed it, some people they make use of it for their productivity. It may match with somebody or it may not, but for the knowledge sake we have brought it here to discuss what people have discussed over time management. So this 70% rule, according to this rule, what this theory states is, for the better productivity, when you are working, give your 70%. Don't give all your 100% to just one task. Conserve your energy for the rest. You need for your personal well-being, you need for the other task also. So what you do is, you give your 70%, be focused, and this helps in productivity, they say. This Hofstadter's law. Yes. Anything to share? Okay. So a task always take longer than estimated to complete. So this goes on the other hand. We saw in the Parkinson's law, whatever time you allot, it gets stretched. Here, on the contrary, what this law states is, when you plan a task, it goes than the estimated time to complete. If I allot half an hour, it may go beyond that, but it totally depends on the individual capacity, and we have to plan according to our need. Now comes the pickle jar theory. This pickle jar theory is a, anybody trying to talk, I just don't understand. Yes, any questions? If not, please everybody mute your mics. Yeah. This pickle jar theory. What does this theory says is, it shows us how to prioritize things. It says us in a visual metaphor. The thing is, you have certain bigger tasks that matches with the pebble. We have compared it here, the bigger tasks which are of importance with the pebbles. So you take a jar, you put your important task, that is your pebbles, then your rocks. Those rocks are the bigger and the harder task which takes almost all of your time. So these are the important tasks to be prioritized first. Then comes the medium or the secondary task which you can delegate to others, or you can do it on the other days. So these sort of things can come in the form of sands into pebble into your jar. Then comes the minor task. These are the tasks which can be either fulfilled, or it can be quitted if you don't have time. So the thing is, like, we spend time over the social media, we keep commenting on people's work. So all these things, they are not important. When I plan certain things, I have certain harder tasks to do in my to-do list today, so I put it in the form of rocks. Then comes the pebbles, the secondary or the medium focused task. Then comes the sands. This is a method. So we discussed about multitasking. So psychology very clearly says that when you switch on between particular tasks, what happens is you tend to have juggling, like your attention gets divided. So you need to have focus, you need to channelize your energy, your motivation to particular important task. So that you give your fullest attention and you finish it in a better way. What happens is, for the perfectionists, if they keep doing multitasking, they may not get the perfect result. So what happens is, this work also gets postponed, or this work is not done at all in a perfect way that you expect. So you keep pushing it, you keep doing it, so the time goes off, you may not notice at all. So try giving your undivided attention to the task which requires most of your time. Now, the thing is, this is very famous metaphor again. Eat that frog. This is said by Brain Tracy in his most famous book on time management, 21 Great Ways to Stop Procrastinating. So what does he say is, what does this metaphor, the frog, mean here is, you have a very tedious task to do, very heavy task, very time consuming, or a very boring task to do. You feel very bored about it. You need to push it to the other day because it lacks your interest. It is a very strenuous thing. So all these sorts are there on your to-do list. I have learned time management. I have made a to-do list. On my to-do list is this task, and the deadline is very near. So what this author, Brain Tracy, suggests us is, eat that frog. What does he mean here is, don't procrastinate it at any cost. This is the most uninterested one in your to-do list, but most important, very strenuous, which requires most of your energy. Do it at the earliest. This is the thing you have to do at your earliest. Don't postpone it at all at any cost. Don't let any of the distraction come and spoil this. In a very beginning, in a very important part of your day, we discussed that productivity may be, for certain people it may be in the early morning hours, for some people it may be in their night hours. Few people feel energetic and focused in their night hours. So what happens is, whatever time best suits for you, you think, you analyze according to your situation is the best, do that thing best in the very beginning of the day, or in your productive time. So this is that metaphor really means. The thing is, if it is your job to eat a frog, it is best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it is your job to eat two frogs, eat
ஆமா. ஆமா.
Please mute your mics. Please mute your mic. And if it's your job to eat two frogs, it is best to eat the biggest one first. So you have two strenuous tasks. Now analyze, weigh and see which is the most strenuous, which is the most difficult task. Finish that off first. Okay. So we discussed about having a very clear, uncluttered desk, organized thing, which helps in better decision making, which reduces your time in searching for things, or you may not have you may not develop stress for that. Otherwise, what happens is it triggers your anxiety, it triggers your stress level, it triggers your fight or flight response. What is this fight or flight response in this scenario is, please mute your mics, it is disturbing others, please. So in this context, what is fight or flight responses? When some danger comes, our hormones in the brain, it indicates that there is a danger. There is so when you just get stressed of missing something, or when you feel stressed about missing a deadline, or you have very limited time to accomplish a task and you're running late, what happens is a certain stress hormone creates in your brain. It triggers fight and flight response. What happens in the fight or flight responses? Either you accomplish your task with that stress level, or what happens is you just literally skip it, you just leave it. No, I cannot accomplish it now, let's leave this task, it is not under my control at all, this will happen. This is not good for your physical or mental well-being. You will not be able to use your skills to the fullest, so let's not have this attitude. Batch process similar task. What they suggest is you can just make into batches the similar task. If I have to send emails to certain person, what I'll do is I'll just take the task of emailing my people and finish it up at once. It may be various groups, it may be various people, I'll just take that task and finish it. If I have to do in my to do list, if I have paying bills, I will pay all the bills required at once and finish that task. So it depends on your need and situation. You can batch the similar task and process it well. So put AI to work for stress. It is not just AI. We have many modern equipments to help. We are just talking about technological advancements. So make use of those gadgets or those techniques or whatever it is to simplify your task. Be updated on those things so that it will help you accomplish your task in a very simple way. Again, we have another effect, Zeigarnik effect. What this effect discuss is our mind quickly forget finished this task. However, they are programmed to continually interrupt us with reminders of unfinished tasks. This is according to Dr. Bluma's Zeigarnik. Okay, so this is also a famous effect which has influenced time management. According to her, this is again a theory. According to her, what is the psychological phenomenon is when we start certain thing, when we start reading a book and we just close it and keep it for the other day, we tend to be consistent, that interest will remain within ourselves uninterrupted. You will tend to go back to that task. So this is all about the Zeigarnik effect. So this can be matched with our students also. A student has taken a subject of maths and he is studying continuously for many years. So if we switch his attention, if we switch his interest to other subject, ultimately he'll be back. Oh, I finished this lesson, I have to accomplish the remaining part also. If you keep on going with that same, you may feel bored. This is all about the Zeigarnik effect according to Dr. Bluma. She has suggested that psychological phenomenon occur in many human beings. Then this is a very important tool when people discuss time management. This, without this tool, it cannot go, you cannot accomplish the session at all, because time management is incomplete without discussing this time management matrix. This is a very important strategy wherever you can find anywhere in time management topic. So what does this say? It has been developed by Stephen Covey, a famous author again on time management skills. He has divided our time into 4 quadrants. We talk about prioritization, we talk about setting deadlines and all that, no? So this is a layout for that. He has divided this time into 4 quadrants. If you have 24 hours a day, you can, if you are planning to allot it, you can allot in this way. What way? The very first quadrant says important and urgent. In my to-do list, I have to see what all I have in my to-do list. In my to-do list, I have a project to accomplish, I have a bill deadline, I have a fees deadline. So take that task first, give importance to it, do it in a very urgent manner. What will happen if I don't do it? It will ultimately cross the deadline. It'll I'll be engaged in other tasks, so I will not have energy to do it. I may miss the deadline. So what are all the tasks are important and urgent, do it in the very first quadrant. Now the other quadrant is important but not urgent. So the task is important. You're looking to get an admission in a college, but it is not so urgent. The deadline is 1 month after or 1 week later. So you can take action accordingly. You can allot your time today to a very other important task. So you can just postpone it. So this is how you should plan your task. Now comes the third quadrant, not important, but urgent. So what we discuss here is the task demand your immediate attention, but it is not important. This can go with the notifications we have or certain household works we have. You may have a plumbing work, you may have other sorts of things, taking family for the outings. These are all things, it may come here. It is not important, but there is some quest about it. People want it. So some kind of interruption. See, a guest popped in your house. You may be working on a very important project, you may be working on a very important thing, but suddenly a guest pops in. So this kind of things will come in this quadrant. Now here, not important and not urgent, what happens is we tend to lose a lot of time in social media. So we have certain tasks to be posted in quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4, according to our situation and needs, according to our plan and to-do list. Okay. So what I can do is, if my task is very important and urgent, see, if there is a medical emergency, what will happen? It is very important. It is very urgent. You have to accomplish right away. Otherwise, it can be life-threatening to someone, right? So such kind of emergencies or very important thing that is going on missing a deadline, do it right away. Important and urgent, finish it right away. Just plan it in the quadrant 1. Now, a thing is important. You have an appointment with the doctor, dentist. It is important, but it is not very urgent as it was. It is not an emergency condition. You can go for the checkup tomorrow. You can go for the checkup 2 days later. So do it later. You can postpone it. You can plan it for other days based on your schedule. Now comes the third quadrant. In this third quadrant, please mute your mics, everybody. Not important and delegate, not it is not important, but it is urgent. So you have an important meeting at your school, as well you have a PTA meeting to attend at your children school. So what happens is, your meeting is very important. I'm not saying that going for children meeting is not important. It is important, but that can be done by either of the parent, right? It is not for you alone to go and do it. You can delegate this task to some other person. So think of this in means of delegating it. This is urgent, but it is not that you have to do it. You can delegate it to your spouse. You, if it is something else, you can delegate it to your friends. You can ask them to just make this happen for me. So this is delegation, allotting it to somebody else. Now this fourth quadrant, if it is neither important nor urgent, best thing is don't do it. If you have leisure time in plenty, do it. Don't do it at the sake of compromising it with your important urgent tasks. This is all about the time management matrix. Okay, so now comes the other technique, Pomodoro method. So this technique is developed in 1980s by a student, Francesco Cirillo. So this student, he was overwhelmed by the pressure he had during his studies and developed a method called Pomodoro technique. What this technique suggests us is you just keep a timer for your task, whatever you are doing. You're contributing your time to something, just fix it for 25 minutes interval. After 25 minutes, take a break time. Take a voluntary break time. So don't go beyond that. Allot this time, 25 minutes, and after that 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. So when you take a 5-minute break, you tend to lose the stress that build up in your mind and you feel relaxed. You just you can just have a sip of water. You can have you can just relax yourself, stretch yourself. Okay, so you can utilize that break time to shed off the stress that build up in doing your work. After this, you can continue doing. So when you continue doing, again, keep a break for 25 minutes. Do the work for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. You can continue this till 4 sessions. After that 4 sessions, what he suggests you is, he suggests you to take a lengthier break based on your situation. You may take a lengthier break of 15 to 30 minutes. So this is important for in conducting research. If you are working on some research project, if you are studying for an exam or doing any work, it can be for any work. People do tailoring work, they sit prolonged for hours together thinking of that, I'll finish it at once. No, what happens is your physical energy drains, your eyes go sogging. So these all happens. We don't give our fullest. If we take a 5 minutes break, what happens is it refreshes yourself. You just come out of the stress, that you come out of that what to say, you come out of that surrounding of pressure that built upon you for 5 minutes. Then you go back with the freshness. This is how this is what the method Pomodoro suggests here. Now comes the other method, Swiss cheese method. What this method states here, let's just a minute, let me just check with the time. Yeah. So what this Swiss cheese method suggests here is, this method tells us to break into chunks. You have to decide and you have to break your task into smaller chunks. Make it a smaller thing. You have a whole project in front of you. Think of it, how do you simplify it? You have a presentation to prepare, right? So what you do is you take down all the notes needed for it. You just plan your presentation. Okay, you plan and you accumulate all sorts of thing needed for it. Then you may need certain networking. If it is so, you can go for it. So what you do is, rather than seeing a presentation as a whole, divide it into very smaller chunks, smaller tasks, and allot smaller time duration to it. Make it manageable. So I have to first to start with the task. Okay, I'm applying for a admission in my college. What I should do? I should look for the courses I'm interested in. This is one task. Now, what is my second task? My second task is to look for the universities or the colleges which are best for me. Firstly, I looked for the course, I looked for the university. Now I jot down and I shortlisted. Next comes the I just go on my financial thing. How much fees is there? How much accessibility is there? So what and all I can manage, this thing. Then goes for the application aspect. This is how. Don't look for the entire scenario. Make it into smaller chunks and divide it and ultimately achieve this. Okay. So larger tasks can be made into a less daunting or less, it can consume less energy and keep you more focused and productive. This is all about the Swiss cheese method. Now comes the ABC prioritization. This is nothing but very similar to our Eisenhower matrix, which I discussed earlier, no? This time management matrix. Important, urgent, not important, but urgent. So similar to this, rather than plotting in four quadrants, what this method suggests is prioritize things based on the high priority task. Some medical emergency, some high deadline in my office, project accomplishment. So this is my high priority. Do it at once, right now, without delegating, without delaying. Now, B task is my medium priority. I can either delegate or I can delay it. So this can be done. If I have time, I can finish my A task and do it. My C task is low priority task. This can be completed, or this can be completed last, or it can be deferred at all. Deferred in the sense you can just quit it. I have planned to watch a movie, but I have a medical emergency today. I have some important deadline to meet, and I have planned for a movie. What matters here? In the A task, you will be taking your medical emergency. In your B task, you will be taking your other priority, uh, whatever it is. Now, in your C task, you can either defer it or you can just leave it. If you have time, you can go for a movie or you can just leave it. This is how we prioritize our tasks in this ABC. Then comes the time blocking. These are
क्लास
all very similar.
ऑनलाइन
Yes.
क्लास अभी उसमें क्यों
Yes. Please mute your mic. So time blocking. Time blocking, this is very similar to what we discussed in our Pomodoro technique. In the Pomodoro technique, that individual has set us to give a 25-minute of time allocation for certain thing and take a 5-minute break. That was his concept. Many people do so, but depending on your scenario, you can either match with the Pomodoro technique or you can make your own concept of time blocking. Depending on your need, on your situation, what is the requirement, depending on that, what you can do is you can block your time for certain thing. This is my leisure time. In this time, I'm going to my gym. And this is my time for education. In this time, I'll be doing my college work, school work. This is time for improving my skills. I'll work on this time for my skills. And this is the time for my friends. I'll go outing with them. This is called time blocking. You can literally take control of it on your own. So this is all depends on your scenario and your condition. Now comes the Pareto principle. This is also a 80-20 rule suggested by a researcher on time management. According to this rule, what does it state is you give your 20% of your effort and 80% of results come out of it. This can very well match with our academic thing. We give our 20% of life, right from our schooling, our college, everything. We give our 20% of life. Till 20 years, we finish our graduation, right? So we give our 20% of time to this thing. And what happened is, based on that, we lead our life. If I want to become a teacher, what I do is I give 20% of my life. I invest my 20% of my life and I reap rewards the remaining age. I get employed because of that. I reap rewards out of that. So what this suggests is, when you invest your time, when you invest your 20%, be careful in prioritizing it, because based on that only your outcome is going to be. Based on that only your efficiency and your productivity. Please mute your mic, everyone. So 20-minute rule. So this is also similar to the time blocking technique. We saw in our Pomodoro technique, we have 25 minutes and 5 minutes gap. So what does this 20-minute rule suggest is similar to the Pareto technique. Our attention span, according to the psychological research, is very limited. It is said to be for 20 minutes. So accordingly, when you study a subject, you can give your fullest attention to 20 minutes. After that, you need to have a break. I think you all need a break, I feel, but as it is important to finish our subjects, I'm rushing through it. Okay. So choose your best method. These are all the time management principles we have from the researchers, from the authors who discussed a lot, have performed the research on time management. Choose the best method which suits your need and plan accordingly. If you don't plan, you will always like what to have is failing to plan. When we fail to plan, we have planned to fail. This is what they say. So once you plan, it's okay if it doesn't work. You can change it anytime. You can change it according to the scenario, according to the demand. So just plan it. Don't miss on the plan. You plan and implement it. Keep it consistent and regular. If I'm unable to make it regular or consistent, this is where our self-discipline should be. When we value the thing most, when we value the money, what we do? We keep it safe. If we don't value it, what we'll do? We'll just throw it anywhere. We tend to miss it or make use. We don't take to use it fully, right? So this happens. When you plan and when you implement, this goes on. Then after implementation also, check whether it works or doesn't work for you. So practicing time management is an ongoing process. It is a matter of life. I said time management is life management. Life goes on, life happens. So any stressor may come, any medical emergency or any sort of emergency, financial condition, any sort of emergency or stress may come. But what you should remember is, anytime we have to be regular, we have to be consistent, and let's not be that into perfection. We need not bother about perfections. Once we are into it, we can be perfect. Now comes the tools. If you are in an organization, you have many tools to simplify your task. So these are all the list of tools. You can make use of it based on your need. Now comes the monkey management. You may wonder here, we are here to learn about time management. What is this monkey management here? Why is this lady talking about monkey management here? So the thing is, this is again a metaphor coined by William Onken and Donald Wass in 1974. What they say is, you will be doing your task with full focus, concentration, and energy. Right? You're working on your project, you're studying for your exam. Suddenly, a person may pop in and tell you that, see, I have got this problem with my mobile. It is not working. I'm unable to make the payment. Can you please check this? So what happened is, here in this situation, people those who have difficulty saying no, they just take their task. Oh, is it? Let me check it. Once if you check it, what happens is, their responsibility, their problem is on your back. You were working on your important task, you were highly focused, and you need to accomplish it. It's your important and urgent task. So suddenly a person came with his problem. That is monkey here. The problem is equated with a monkey here, illustrated with a monkey here. So it is not just one person. Many people may come. You are working on your project. It is a work from home. Your family may come interrupt, keeping their problem on your shoulder. So this all happens. So this is all a part of life. I'm not saying this won't happen, this shouldn't happen. But what we should do is we should know to manage this. We should know to tackle this. If we don't tackle this, what will happen? We will take up somebody else's problem as our own. And who will take care of our own problem? This is discussed in detail in aspect with the organization management. What happens is we tend to, the subordinates, they tend to put all sorts of problems. They create some mess and they just come and report it to the manager. Manager, see, I have got this problem. So this is widely discussed in terms of the organizational psychology, but even in day-to-day life, this can be discussed, this can be matched up. So we have brought this here. Monkey management in your daily work. So what happens is we have the similar things. What we have in the time management, we have similar strategies. You have to plan your day. Unless you plan, you have planned to fail. This is the thing you should remember. And you need to prioritize things. You need to have your to-do list. You have to schedule. You have to stay focused. Avoid multitasking on very important tasks. So recognize the monkeys. What does it mean? Recognize the monkey means when you start up, it should start with you. You can support your friend. You can help them, but you cannot own their problem. It is not your problem. You have already a lot in your life. You have so much on your table to do. But what you're doing is, rather than finishing it up, you are getting someone else's problem. So here it doesn't mean that you shouldn't help them. You should help them, but you shouldn't take responsibility for their problem. You should not become the acting person there. You can just guide them. Do this way, do that way. You should not say, let me check, let me get into it. So ultimately what will happen is you will skip your work, you will get into their trouble. Clarify ownership. So whenever a problem comes, you should think of it, how it should be dealt. Is it you who have to take up the ownership, or it is their problem? If it is yours, now you have to take it up. If it is not yours, you can support them, you can give them some solution, you can direct them, but don't involve into their problem a lot, leaving your work. Offer them guidance, offer them resources, but don't take it up entirely on your shoulder. Set check-in points. So monitor.
इन्वेस्टेड है कीवर्ड में सेम अमाउंट इधर इन्वेस्ट करूंगा तो रिस्क मैच नहीं होगा बिकॉज़ हियर देयर इज अ लॉस.
Please mute your mics. Second checkpoint. Okay, so okay, so what happens is you need to have a check-in about the points. How does it work? You need to monitor your progress. Am I doing well? Am I just finishing, accomplishing my task rather than taking others' problems? So delegate effectively. How, if problems will come, if you are at home, some emergency conditions may come, people may come, the gas man may pop up, the guest may come up, but you are in a very important task. So what you can do is you can attend to it and delegate it to someone else. So you should effectively think in this manner, reflect and adjust. So at the end of the day or the week, check your to-do list. Have you ticked? Have you furnished, accomplished all the tasks you have? How well managed you have all your problems? You need to adjust your approach here. You need to manage your time accordingly. So this is all about the monkey management. Now let's see the very, in a gist, the mastery of time management. We have discussed so many methods. It is, when it comes to the prioritization of time, you have a better tool, that is Eisenhower matrix, that is time management matrix, which talk about 4 quadrants. Next comes the ABC method. You can place the very high priority task on the top, then the next, then you can delegate, you can defer, or you can quit the very least task. Then comes the planning. When in terms of planning, you can talk about time blocking, We saw so many things. You have many apps for this also. You can make use of it. You have many planners, schedulers. If you Google it, you'll get many. Based on your requirement, you can select. So smart goals. When it comes to the matter of goal setting, you should definitely have a goal setting so that you drive your energy, you drive your time, you invest your time into it. How that goal should be, we will be seeing in the upcoming sessions. It should be very specific. You should be very clear about what you want to achieve. It should be a measurable one. It should be in terms of, okay, I'll finish my college in 3 years. I'll finish my this thing in 2 years. Okay, for my skill development, I have allotted 1 year. So this way, it should be measurable, it should be achievable, it should be relevant to your improvement, and it should be time bound. Time bound in the sense, again, it should be measurable. You should achieve it. It should not be an infinite one. Building productive habits. So self discipline is very important. You should have an organized workspace. You should maintain your time. You can follow the techniques we learned. Minimize distractions. When you want your undivided attention to certain things, it is very important to minimize your distractions. Then be flexible and adaptable. Don't having said that, being a perfectionist or I want this in this amount of time, don't be that. It is there, we have planned, we should stick on to it. It is there, we should try the most. But if it fails in at times, what you have to do is you have to be flexible. You have to forgive yourself for that. It is okay to fail once. You can do it, you can make it up the other way, or you can just change it according to the situation. Don't have that guilt in mind that I failed it, I planned it but it didn't work out. So it is all the matter of how we adapt, how flexible we are. So just keep improving. Your self-care here is also very important. You need to take care of yourself. You have to, when you schedule your time, allot some me time. Do for your favorite tasks. Allot some time for your well-being too. Then comes the do the task for just few minutes. This effect we all discussed, this technique we discussed. Reframing. When you have a very boring task in front, you feel like procrastinating it, what you do is add some interesting elements to it. It depends totally upon your creativity. How do you reframe the boring task? So what people do is, for the children, what we do is we allot some time for the children to study, then we give them some perks, some rewards. So in this way we can do it. Even for the employees, the organization, they arrange so many perks, they arrange so many recreational activities for them to feel engaged and focused on their work, not to feel bored. So recognize the warning sign. What is the warning signs? If you intentionally procrastinate, what you have to do is, what is the therapy here is, you have to force yourself. No, I have a strong intention to procrastinate. Let me do it for just 5 minutes. Let me do it, whichever task you are in making a presentation. Let me allot a 5 minute at least just to break this habit. Let me allot my 5 minutes at least and do this work. This becomes a therapy here. Eliminate distraction. We discussed this. We discussed about keeping everything organized. Model success. This is what we are here to discuss. Like Pomodoro technique and this time blocking technique. These are all worked well. And eat that frog, Brain Tracy's technique. So these techniques all have been discussed worldwide, has been utilized successfully by many of the achievers. So what we are here to say is, model success, though just reframe it according to your need. It is not that you have to stick on to it, but have in mind that this has worked out for many people. Visualize your goal end. So when you set a goal, start visualizing the end of the goal. How you will feel when you achieve it, how you will feel when you become a person you have imagined, you have planned your goal according to that. Okay, so visualize the final result so that you will be motivated and boosted up to work it in a positive way. Then reward yourself. When you accomplish certain tasks, when you follow certain techniques, what you have learned, or when you improve on your skills, you just reward yourself. It is not that you have to be 100% time effective, 100% productive. It is better to be something than nothing. Yesterday you were very low on time management, but today you have saved at least 10 minutes. Reward yourself. You gain just 10 minutes for yourself, what is that, leisure time, for your well-being, for you have got some time to spend with your family. Then reward yourself. You were not having it yesterday, right? So it is not that you have to be 100% today. If you're making it 10% today, reward yourself. This person 10% will improve, promote to 20%. Ultimately you will be a perfect individual. Start doing it now. Everything comes by practice. Don't just think in a matter of this is just a hearsay words, we cannot implement it. Once you implement it, only when you will implement, only you recognize the value of it. That's why we had the entire session discussing the value, what the philosophers have said, what the psychologists have said, discussing all the quotes on time management, highlighting the important eminent personalities, just to know the value of it. Now you know the value. Time is not gold. Time is not equated to any sort of commodity like money or anything. It is your life. So think of it in terms, make use of the strategies, have self discipline, and just do it. So it is better to have something. Start working on it with very little. Forgive yourself if you have not accomplished it today. It's okay. Don't be guilty for that. Don't dwell upon it and just develop your stress. That's okay. Forgive yourself and keep doing it the other day. Try to be a better person tomorrow. You have accomplished this today 10%. Try to advance in that. Make it 20%. Or if you need a break, just take it, no problem. Try to be a better person the other day. But don't take a very lengthy break where you lose all your skills. You just forget what you have learned. So this is all about time management. Now this is your session for discussion. So now, anybody has any question?
Ma'am, it was overall an excellent session. You are impeccable, you're flawless. There's a small suggestion I have since we discuss pertaining to time management. All I could say is probably a 10 minutes gap of, 10 minutes break for the whole session.
Yes, definitely. I was thinking
That
about
will be
it.
like, so because sometimes, it'll be kind of overwhelming for you as well as for us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a suggestion. Going forward, so if you would want to consider this, that will be really, really helpful.
Accepted, sir.
And
All the suggestions
you
are
can call me
welcome.
Deepak, ma'am. You can call me Deepak.
Okay.
Just one more quick thing I just wanted to bring it to your notice. So I'll probably put this in the chat. I don't know whether you had time to review that. So if you could suggest some AI tools for the things that we have discussed so far, that'll be great. If you could drop this in the chat, right? So that'll be,
Mm-hmm.
or if anyone is familiar with all those tools, so to cut short few things, or what are the few things that you would want to recommend with regards to time management, or it could be for any other things that you could think of or you could come across. If you could suggest it, that'll be really, really helpful. Overall, it
Okay.
was an excellent session. I learned something. I knew this Pomodoro and Pareto and all that. I'm a soft skills trainer by myself, so I'm a
Okay.
communication and was an accent trainer as well. So, but this one was really, really interesting. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. We have a lot of digital tools, like as I said, we have Google Calendar. For the organizational setup and all, we have Trello kind of thing. Then we have Slack. These are all the tools. You have asked in terms of AI, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. So AI, we have Copilot, Chat GPT. These are all very famous nowadays. They just tend to give you answer in no time. Like I have to go in deep to know your specific requirement. We have many tools, like we have Google Calendar, we have Trello and Slack for our organizational things. We have Dropbox and OneDrive for keeping all our documents, our file storage, and all that. We have many weekly and daily planners too. Then what do we have for designs and diagrams? We have Canva. I have mentioned it in my slides too. So
The
AI,
ones which are
maybe I may get back.
the ones which are prominent ones that you've already mentioned. See, I'm aware. I use ChatGPT. I use Canva. I use
Huh.
a few other things. In
Yes.
terms of doing a presentation stuff and all, I also do Gamma and stuff like.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have anything which is with regards to what do you say like doing a kind of what do you say like I'm not getting the perfect word or probably the my verbiage, so probably I think of it and I would so would text it or probably touch base with you next time when we
Yeah,
circle
sure,
back.
sure. I'll also come up with an update on what you have asked. Yeah. So let's have an insight over that.
And do we also get this PowerPoint presentation, this the slides that we're talking about, this on time
Mm-hmm.
management on all this?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then that answers my question.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And you are
So,
really, really excellent. So looking forward for many such sessions from you in the future.
sure, sure,
And
sure.
I mean
You
this from the
told
bottom
us.
of my heart. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. That
You have
values
a
a
great,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have weekly 3 sessions in a week, is it? So
Yeah, weekly 3 sessions we have. My syllabus is limited to life skill training. So other faculties will be dealing subjects such as health psychology, family psychology, personality development, so others, and developmental psychology. So they will be discussing topics such as all these topics which I told you no now.
so when are we gonna have your next session? So,
My
you-
next session will be on Monday.
oh,
So the life skill training sessions will be every Monday and Friday till we complete our syllabus.
sure. Thank you. I look forward to it.
Sure.
Look forward to it. Yeah. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
You're welcome. So the brother has asked, what are the qualities of accepting criticism in time failures? So this we will be discussing in detail. We have a very elaborate syllabus on uh, all these things. Every skill is interrelated. So what quality you mean in a short I can say is, whenever people come with a feedback, your mindset should be constructive. Don't keep it in a judgmental attitude. So that if you have a judgmental attitude, this person is here to attack me, he just want to highlight my negative points, he's not there to highlight my positive. So don't be in terms of this judgmental view. Have a constructive feedback view, so that whenever people come and tell you your flaws, actually these flaws has to be highlighted more rather than giving you a positive thing. One who comes and highlights your flaws, take it in a constructive way. This is a very big support for you to grow up, to just to evaluate yourself. It is like somebody is showing you the mirror. See, this is where you're lagging. Now you need to correct. We do makeup, we just see the mirror and we just do the thing, no? We just correct it. The same way, what people do, they just come with the feedback. They want whatever their intention is. Let's not be judgmental. Even if they want to criticize you, they want to demean you, they want to demotivate you, you are the one who has the sole control of yourself. So what you should do is, you should take it in a more constructive way. So they say, no, when life give lemons, let's make lemonade. That's why, that's how it works. When people throw stones, just pick up and build a castle. Have that mindset. We will be discussing we will be discussing it elaborately in upcoming sessions. Yeah, thank you. So have I answered, Vasi? Any other doubt or any other suggestions? Okay. I think it's time. Actually, okay, we have some more minutes. Our session is till 9, right? So it's 8:48. If some suggestions are there, they are most welcome. Yes, feedback is always essential. If you really want to grow, feedback is essential. That's why I'm asking here, because what I do is I'm trying to give my 100%, but I may lag somewhere, right? It may not match up with your expectation. See, what we are doing is we have learned about time management now. Time is equal to life. You are giving a part of life to my session. I am giving my part of life for this session. So it must be fruitful on both the sides. It is not just my satisfaction or your satisfaction. I have to be satisfied in terms of if I take a session, it has to be fruitful. You should get benefit out of it. Then it gives me a satisfaction. I feel motivated. When you give me a feedback, either it is negative or positive, I try to be the better version. You are helping me to be a better version, right? It is helping me ultimately to be a productive one tomorrow. Now, Deepak told me that he is looking for AI related information. So this has given me an insight what you're looking for, so that I will be focusing on that. We have a very what to say, people from various thing. No, a few people are from few people are housewife from various background. We have certain people, so we should try to accommodate everybody's interest. So it's good to have feedback. Whenever people give you feedback, take it in a constructive way. That is my in short suggestion to you. It is very essential for the growth. Anybody else who want to give any sharings of your personal view, you're welcome. All right, some real time example will, okay, sure, we'll try to include it.
Yeah, perhaps you can also include few activities like yeah, and few games and just
Yeah,
to
definitely.
do the icebreakers.
To boost the interest up.
That's correct. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
of course, you're very welcome.
Anything else?
As I said, so probably you can contemplate on giving breaks. I mean, 10 minutes, so after 1 hour or something, and then
Actually,
yeah, but
yes, it
that will
is.
also you also at times you'll have to talk for nearly 2 hours, so that will be
Mhm.
tiresome for you as well. So you could also take a break. You also could
Usually we have in our sessions when when it goes for a very lengthy period, we take 10 minutes break. Yeah, actually when we discussed about this techniques, no, the time blocking and this attention and all, it is really need to be implemented actually, but in a hurry to finish that, I just
That's
skimmed it.
okay. That's okay. This is I understand that.
Okay. um, Tamil sessions, yeah, Tamil sessions are going on. Still, I'm not taking Tamil right now. Actually, DCP course is going on in Tamil. My syllabus will be coming later in a month, I think so. So other topics are going on like family psychology, health psychology, what else? Developmental psychology. Other madam is taking personality development. So those sessions are going on. My syllabus is yet to come. We have both DCP both in Tamil and English as well. This, which is feasible time schedule at critical instance. I didn't get this. Can you be like, can you explain this, please? Which is feasible time schedule at critical. You can just unmute and ask. I'm not. techniques to be taken into consideration. Yeah, we discuss so many techniques, like you have to have a plan, you have to prioritize your goals, and you have to definitely have a goal setting. It all depends on your need and your scenario. It may be different for me, it may be different for a housewife, it may be different for a one who wants to achieve more in a organization, like in a professional setting. It may be different for the one who has educational background, for a student, okay, who wants to do more in studies. So these techniques are like, it is universal. This organization should be there. Procrastination, breaking the procrastination, goal setting and law of attraction interrelated. Okay, so goal setting is what you do it deliberately, you plan. Yes, it is interrelated to some extent. You just think of it. Is it achievable? Is it my real interest with? All sorts of things we just think here, we plan, and we tend to have some time bound thing for this goal. Like if my goal is to become a doctor, what should I do? I should allocate time. But in terms of saying goal setting, if I want to become a doctor, but I'm not doing any activity related to it, I'm into an art subject, I have taken up maths as my subject, I've not taken science in my school, so how am I going to become a doctor? This is how the goal setting gets toppled. You have to be very specific in what do you want, what are all the needs and accomplishment that it requires from you. You have to develop that skills, and very time bound. And law of attraction, what does it say is, whatever you seek, you will be given that. By that, universe tends to give you that. Or if you are a spiritual person, you can say God will help you getting that. So goal setting and law of attraction is interrelated, but goal setting in different terms is more specific what we do. Law of vision is certain kind of, law of attraction is certain type of visualization. I told you, no, even if you have a goal setting, you need to have you need to visualize your ultimate goal, as if you have reached it, you are successful. So this comes under that. And coming back to Wasim's question, techniques to be taken into consideration. So techniques to be taken into consideration is, we all can have these techniques, like this prioritization, scheduling, planning. It is not in times of critical instance. Critical instance is what we do it at an very emergency situation, very urgently, very important. You have to just do it right now. You have to accomplish that task. You will not have time for planning all that, no? If there is a medical emergency, leaving everything else to the task B, or leaving everything to the other quadrant, you will just do it right now. Do it. This is how we do. Is there Baraka time as per modern psychology theory interrelating Islamic teachings? Yes, I told you, no, few people are early morning people. So early birds, we call them. Some people are night owls. So it is said in terms, most of the religious scriptures and most of the what is that, saints and all of that, they have said that early morning time is the best. Whichever thing, you just go back with the religious thing, it is there. Even in the Islamic point of view, morning time is so blessed, you have barakah in it, definitely. But some people know, because they are used to it, what they do is they feel night to be refreshed. It is totally on our circadian rhythm. If you sleep all the time in the morning, uh, definitely you will be feeling fresh in the evenings, right? Unless you change your circadian rhythm, your sleep cycle will not be helping you out. So early mornings definitely have blessings, and it is said psychologically also. Yeah. Who are more effective personalities in time schedules, either introvert or people caring extrovert? Okay. So, as you said, it depends. Researches are going on as on these topics and all. People carrying extroverts, in the sense, those who spend a lot on socializing. We said here that try to reduce it, try to minimize it. Um, who has got the monkey? We discussed in that also, in monkey management also we discussed that you don't take the sole responsibility of someone else's problem. It is not that you shouldn't help at all. You should help, you should guide them, you should find them resources. But having said that, leaving your own task, just don't jump into their problem, because ultimately it will cause damage to you. When you are happy, when you are successful and an achiever, you can help people. When you yourself are struggling, and how is it possible, or it doesn't make sense to help others, right? It is not that we shouldn't help, or we shouldn't we should be very introvert, we shouldn't mingle with people. We all need to socialize. But having said that, அளவுக்கு மிஞ்சினால் அமிர்தமும் நஞ்சு. If it exceeds beyond the limit, it goes in another direction. So introverts, maybe research are going on. It is not so. It depends on the need. And who's not in need of having a better life, having better productivity? Everyone are in need. We all should take control of it rather than thinking in terms of personality. That's where the psychotherapy comes into play. We all assess our personalities, and we take some therapies. We learn some skills to manage and what is that, implement it in our daily life. Yes, have I answered? And it's time to, it's 9. Shall we wind up the session?
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay.
You're brilliant. You're brilliant. Bye. Good night. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Good night, everybody. See you in the next session. And thank you for all your feedback. All of your suggestions are most welcome. Okay. So hope to connect with you all in the next session. Thank you so
Inshallah.
much.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
ईरानी टीवियां कितने कितने की टिया थे